Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns and Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today is Martial Monday. We have covered all the fighter subclasses published to date, so now we're moving on to Paladins, and we're going to kick things off with Oath of the Ancients.
This guy's underrated. I like Gothic Ancients. So this is the druid sort of what if paladins were devoted to preserving the nature and preserving the land and sort of devoted to sheltering, kindling, preserving your own light and being the light, right? So it kind of takes divinity and pairs it a lot with nature, and you get like a bunch of deep, rich lore around it. I like this a lot as just saying like this is a way to play a paladin that is in a party full of hippies, right? You have the druid, you got the ranger, you got the rogue scout, and you're like, okay, great. I like this vibe. I'm just gonna go paladin with the ancient thing, just have a blast doing the thing as a big, burly, bearded tree folk kind of creature with grass in your hair and a giant wooden shield and that kind of aesthetic. I'm a big fan, big protector of nature fantasy kind of deal here. I don't know. I like the aesthetic a lot, and I think the
Yeah,
mechanics end up matching pretty well. And while they're not like, busted bonkers, over the power, doing anything crazy, I think it gives you enough that I'm pretty happy to take this most of the time. I'm pretty happy to like say a base paladin's great. This gives me a little bit extra stuff that I'm going to use now and then, and that's pretty good.
yeah, it's an interesting flavor for a paladin, but I think it works.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I like it. It's like it's not the righteous devotion, big light bulwark, huzzah for humanity, kill undead, and it's not the I'm a vicious, like megalomaniacal overlord crushing people under my big thug metal boot, right? It's
Mm.
a different aesthetic for paladin. It's a side grade to the devotion thing where you're not like for all of humanity and religion and God and a crusade and all that fun stuff. You're more like a natural warden. I think
Well,
it's a cool look for it.
there's a pantheon of gods, and some of them are, they created the universe. They got some interest in protecting it.
Well, paladins this edition, Bob, if you didn't know, aren't as
Uh-oh.
devoted to deities as they used to be. Instead, they've been sort of moved to care about a moral code, a compass, a direction called their tenets. So this starts with the tenets of the ancient, which is kindle the light, shelter the light, preserve your own light, be the light. These are like cute little flavor things that are more or less optional that you can like use to sort of centrally define what this character is supposed to look like. Most of them are just don't be a jerk. So, follow that in real
That's
life too.
yeah, yeah. That still works for this though.
Yeah, absolutely. So
All
we
right.
can start off with the oath spells. I think the oath spells are more important than most people tend to give them credit. I feel a lot of discourse around subclasses tends to ignore what their oath spells or what like their expanded spell lists offer, and that as your core mechanics, as your core features, is the things you're going to be doing a lot is casting spells. They matter, and I really like this list. So your third level options, so your first level spells, you get Ensnaring Strike and Speak with Animals. Your second level options are Moonbeam, Misty Step. Your third level are Plant Growth and Protection from Energy. Now, past this point, we're at the tier of play where it's like, how can I possibly be excited to get fourth level spells when people are casting seventh level spells? But you get Ice Storm and Stone Skin, and then you commune with nature and Tree Stride at 17th level, which is comical. But they're there. The most of what we care about is the first three groupings, though, which is Ensnaring Strike, Speak with Animals, Moonbeam, Misty Step, Plant Growth, and Protection from Energy. Bob, initial.
Stone Skin at 13th level is comical.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Barbarians get that at first level with Rage.
All right, you were asking me what?
Of the six, like, or of the nine, or yeah, of the six, third, fifth, ninth level unlocked bonus spells, how you feel about them?
Um, we go through this every time we talk about these spells, but yeah, two of my favorites are Ensnaring Strike and Plant Growth.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of fun to be had there. Getting Plant Growth at any level excites me.
That's fair.
That
I like
it's
plant growth.
massive.
Plant growth on Paladin is really fun because you basically get it. You start hitting something, and they go, maybe this is a bad idea, and you go, oh, you're not going anywhere. Plant growth, and then everyone's stuck in there with you. I think that's a pretty fun fantasy. I like that with Ensnaring Strike kind of sets you up to be a I'm going to get in there and no one is going anywhere. I am going to maintain control of this environment. I'm going to ensnaring, strike, restrain people. I'm going to plant growth to set myself up and then Misty Step into the center of the ball and start whacking them, right? This plays all really well together. And while Moonbeam isn't the greatest spell in the world, and so the concentration is still a good thing to have, you Speak with Animals is a great little flavorful addition, and Protection from Energy is genuinely useful to have on your sheet for when you will find you need it. I hate preparing it whenever I don't know what encounter is coming up to, but having it in surprise encounters where it's like, hey, sudden breath weapon, it's great, and it definitely fits the Nature Warden kind of aesthetic. I think we got 6 for 6 spells I'm really happy are here, and they're not absurdly busted or anything like that, but they definitely define a neat specific lane for this Paladin. It's going to make you feel very different than all of the other options are going to make you feel.
I kind of feel that way about Speak with Animals. I don't care about it, but there are times when it's going to be fun to use.
Yeah, absolutely. I would recommend playing with it more on your sheet, players out there, including you, Bob. You will find more moments where it is useful. It is a genuinely great little information gathering tool. It's a very natural flavor. It gets you more in touch and engaged with the world. It makes the DM answer a lot of cool questions. You're going to ask your DMs a lot. Shouldn't there be rats here, or aren't there bugs around, right? Or you'll just start engaging with the space. It's really fun.
Yeah, and Misty Step.
And Misty Step's so good on Paladin. We need to take a quick sidebar. Misty Step is really, really good on Paladin. So it's a second level slot, which is a lot. But whenever your character's objective is to hit things with big crit smites, getting on top of them is an important element of your character. Doing so as a bonus action with a 30-foot teleport is really good. And on top of that, you can just immediately attack twice and smite. The Misty Step a lot of the time on full casters feels a little bit clunky because you can't cast a spell the same turn you use it, so it kind of takes up your whole turn. So in low tiers, it's good at repositioning, fire off Firebolt, Firebolt, Eldritch Blast, whatever. On martial characters, it's way better because it's an instant 30-foot teleport to the best spot you want to be that's normally inside the enemy team, and you just start swinging that same turn. And you can dump some more smites, you have big Nova stuff. Oh, it's so good. And then it's also great out of combat. Delicious. Love it.
And you also brought up before, works well with plant growth.
Sure does. You're prepping a fight, you see all the orcs below you, plant growth, Misty Step, and you've set up glory. You're in there, they're not leaving, you're not leaving, and someone's gonna die.
Actually, with plant growth, though, you can make it so that you can move freely through the plants, right?
No, you can choose to make areas not overgrown.
Right.
So, if you do that, other things can use them too. That's the
true.
downside, right? So, if you want people to be stuck using 4 feet of movement for one, you kind of have to suffer through it yourself.
Yeah. All right. Well, still, fun times. Yeah, it's a instant cage match.
I would say this is in the contention for one of the best flavorfully fitting and mechanically defining expanded spell lists in the game. It's really home run, hit after hit after hit. I love it here.
And I like that they front loaded the good spells, and then later you get stone skin, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, once you stop playing, you don't care anymore, right? So Channel Divinity is our other 3rd level feature. So you get 2 options. You get once per short rest. So there's Nature's Wrath. So you can use your Channel Divinity to invoke primeval forces to ensnare a foe. As an action, you can cause Spectral Vines to reach up around for a creature within 10 feet of you. 10 feet is pretty small. The creature makes a strength or dex save against your spell save DC with Channel Divinity's use, or be restrained. While restrained by the vines, it can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns. On its success, it ends. So action, 10-foot range, that's not amazing. It's another way to live the root fantasy. I think Ensnaring Strike's going to do it a lot better, but if you've used all your spell slots or you're trying to mitigate and manage them better, if you can't quite get there and you would rather not dash, this is a comparable option, I guess. I don't love it, but it's fine. Restraint is good.
Yeah, restraint. I want to like this, but 10-foot range. If you're that close,
hit it.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So for what it's worth, restrained, their speed is 0. Attack rolls against them have advantage, and their attack rolls have disadvantage. They have disadvantage on dex saves. So there is more meaningful upside than just grappling for what that's worth. Yeah. So, if you wanted to do this as setup, I think, again, if this was printed in Tasha's Forward, it probably would have been a bonus action to use to set up and then strike it. This way you have to spend a whole action doing it.
There are times, though, when you can't quite get there.
Yeah.
And then you don't mind blowing your action, and if you're within 10 feet, great.
Is it better than dashing? Maybe
Well,
it sets you up next turn.
it could be because
Yeah, it could be.
you're using your action. If you dash, you're getting the same effects. You want to get to this creature.
You're sometimes getting the same effects, right? Because if it passes, it does nothing. So it is a save or die where the die or the save like is a real portion, and the die isn't the end of the world. So,
but I mean, if you're just trying to get to this creature, you use all your movement to get within 10 feet of it. Dashing is just going to get you there. You can't do anything else. In this case, you have the option of trying something, and then next turn, you just got to move 10 feet.
So I will say it also has a hard time getting away from because you set up attacks of opportunity, so it'd have to disengage, and then you can probably move to get it in range of it again. If it's got a faster speed than you, this is definitely better than that, right? Like if it's faster, if you're dealing with something that's quick, being able to get within 10 feet of it and be like, don't move. Now you have a good way to actually get on top of it, so that's definitely the upside. It's not unusable, it's just kind of niche. Turn the Faithless is the other channel divinity you get. So this is, you could utter ancient words that are painful for Fae and Fiends to hear. As an action, you present your holy symbol, and each Fae or Fiend within 30 feet of you must make a whiz save or is turned. Oh my goodness, burping all over the place. Until, for a minute, until it takes damage. And turned should have been conditioned. I don't know why it's not, but they give us the turned blurb on every single time they mention turned, and it annoys me. Just put it in the conditions. Anyway, so you turned creature must spend its turns trying to move as far away from you as it can, and it can't willingly move to a space within 30 feet of you. It also can't take reactions. For its action, it can only use the dash action to try to escape. Basically, if you turn something, it's going to have a bad time because it's going to sprint away from you, failing to take actions, big crowd control. If you can ever make this hit, it's really, really, really good. Also, fun fact, this one says, if the creature's true form is concealed by an illusion, shapeshift or other effect, that effect is revealed, which is a unique thing to Oath of Ancients, so that's neat. I think this is definitely the better of the two, but it's only in situations with Fae or Fiends, which gives you a neat little, like, I am really good against Fae. I am really good against things like devils trying to burn the forest down. That's pretty cute.
Fae or Fiend, you can't be selective about it. If you've got some little pixie friends that you use this,
stand behind me.
Run away
there you go. Oh, never mind. Stand 30 feet behind me. There you go.
Yeah.
So don't have pixie friends?
That's not a nice way to be, Sam. A little bit racist.
Listen, if you don't want to hurt them, this hurts them, I guess it just really scares them. Like, it doesn't hurt, kill them or anything.
Yeah. Why are Fae and Fiends the Faithless?
It's a word that the writer in the moment was like, I need something. All right, pencil and Faithless, will change it later, and they just probably never did. I think demons are pretty faithless, more so than devils by a lot. I guess the Fiends are both, but
I don't know if they're faithless. I mean, they believe.
Do elementals believe in anything? Is there an
Probably
elemental
not.
Jesus? Does he walk on water, or is he just water?
Whoa.
Anyway.
Yeah, I want to say this is better, but I mean, if you're at a table where you're playing against a lot of Fae and Fiends, then this is amazing.
Yeah. But, I think more likely what's going to happen is you're going to be at a table where every once in a while you're against Fae or Fiend, and the rest of the time you're using Nature's Wrath. And I think it's a fine spot to be.
All right, cool. Let's keep moving.
Short Aura of Warding, so all Paladins get an Aura. They always get the one that gives everyone 1 billion to saves. That's really good. But beyond that, Aura of Warding is, at 7th level, ancient magic lies so heavily upon you that you form as an Eldritch Ward. You and a friendly creature within 10 feet of you have resistance to damage dealt by spells. The range increases to 30 foot at 18th level. Your mileage may vary. This can be really busto. This can also have no text. It literally just depends on the kind of encounters your DM likes to run. Are you doing monster hunting in Shalt? This probably has no text. Are you against the Red Wizards of Thay? This is the best feature in the game. That's kind of... The best feature is exaggerating, but it's really, really good. In fact, it always affects you. You always have resistance to spell damage, means you're probably always getting something out of it. I say that in the circumstances that you're against specifically spellcasters, you're getting something out of it. I think most of the tables will have a similar amount of encounters, probably a little bit more, that deal with spellcasting than Fae and Fiend. So I would say it's fairly niche, but still very good in those encounters.
Just straight up damage from spells. This is not a damage type, just damage from spells. I think that's pretty big. Again,
it has to cast spells. Against an ogre, this does nothing.
Right. I get that. But I mean, spells are how many hours have we spent talking about spells? They're a major component of this game.
but mainly for players. That's, I think a meaningful point of difference,
yeah.
right? When we're talking about player features that they're using regularly over and over again, that's less important in the case of having benefits against them. So when we're looking at monsters, we have to really ask, how many monsters are being run that are using spells? The answer is sometimes a lot. The answer is also sometimes you're running giant dinosaurs. The answer is sometimes you're in a setting where you're just against swaths of undead and, death knights that are commanding legions that aren't using spells. Most tables will definitely have some tables will have a lot. The really, really powerful tables where like counterspell is a big component of the game, where that whole mini game and like silence, dispel magic, that whole, I don't know the best word to say other than situation is occurring. This is really, really, really good because your DM's throwing a lot of high power spells at you as a way of combating other high power Munchkin stuff, which I think leads this to being better at more power gaming tables. At lower power gaming tables, at fairly casual tables, sometimes this is amazing. Whenever if it ever saves the team from a fireball, you'll feel like a hero. Then again, they were standing near you in fireball formation, so were you the source of the damage? Who's to say?
That's good fireball bait.
Yeah.
Just intentionally get in fireball formation and let them rain down havoc on you.
I think I'd rather take no damage than half still. So, I still probably don't want to be near you if you're trying to bait out a fireball.
Yeah, but half damage, then you get to save. And
if you're evasive, you're taking almost nothing always. So, rogues and monks, have a great time.
Yeah, but I mean, just having a fireball, that's fun. You've just blown through an enemy's valuable resource. I like this one. I think you get some miles out of it.
I agree. I think if you're in the market as a player to say, I want to play a paladin, but I don't want to do the generic paladin thing, but I also don't want to be like evil or anything, this is probably the one I'd point you to. This is probably the least evil of the other options that are available. There's a lot of really evil paladins running around. But this one's, All
right, well, we're not finished yet. No. When I said I like this one, I was talking about aura of warding.
Oh, specifically.
But yeah.
I thought you were talking the grander scope of things. Undying Sentinels, the 15th level feature. So this is whenever you are reduced to 0 hit points and are not killed outright, you can just drop to 1 instead. Sure, you can get it back on a long rest. Additionally, you suffer no drawbacks from old age and can't be aged magically. Okay, this is relentless. Boars get relentless, and no one's raving about how powerful boars are. So, I don't love it. Not getting killed outright is useful, especially whenever you have healing. Like this is a circumstance where sometimes you'll go, okay, I am taking menial chunks of damage. I know by the time my next turn I might be down, but I probably won't be. And in that window, you go to 0, you get a turn, you lay on hands yourself for 35, and then you have another couple rounds to take some more hits. That's probably the play pattern you see here. I think this is a boring, non-interesting. That's synonyms, but
it does give you a little bit of encouragement if you were thinking, I don't know if I want to hang back or if I want to go make one more charge. And yeah, go ahead and make the charge. That's
you're a paladin. That was your job anyway.
Yeah, no, but then you don't die.
You definitely still probably die.
Yeah.
This doesn't I don't think this would have been a lot more interesting if it says you can't drop below 0 until the start of or the end of your next turn. That's a lot more interesting text. This just says once of the many attacks you're attempting to take as a paladin, you can opt to drop to a 1 instead of 0. And there will be some times you'll be like, well, I'm at 44, and those 6 creatures that are attacking me are definitely going to drop me to 0. Maybe I stay up. There's 2 more attacks after this will drop me to 0. Guess I'm going down then. And then this has no text. And that's most of the time I think it's going to be.
Well, you did eat up one more action.
For a 15th level feature.
Yeah.
We end on a much cooler effect. Elder Champion. These are all paladins get to kind of ascend to an angel or a avatar of vengeance or something. This is you can transform the ancient force of nature, taking on the appearance you choose. For example, your skin might turn green and you get bark-like texture. Your hair might become leafy and moss-like. You might sprout antlers and a lion-like mane. Love it. No notes. That's incredible. Anyway, what it does, using your action, you can undergo the transformation for a minute. That action's rough, but you do it right before a fight. At the start of each turns, you regain 10 hit points. That's a lot of hit points. That's 100 hit points. Whenever you cast a paladin spell as cast time of 1 action, you can cast it as a bonus action instead. Woo! Want to learn how to make paladin half-caster spells good? Make them able to attack alongside them. And then finally, enemy creatures within 10 feet of you, because that wasn't enough, apparently. Enemy creatures within 10 feet of you have disadvantage on saving throws against paladin spells and channel divinity options, which is your turn and your little plant root thingy, and your Ice Storm. So, maybe Ice Storm gets cast as a bonus action. That doesn't feel that bad. That seems actually really good. Bonus action for Ice Storm seems great.
Yeah, this is a nice little capstone.
Yeah, this is, I think, a very fair, very solid, I'm going to be really awesome for a minute. You get a little bit more durability, which is what the Paladin is supposed to get. You have a big, impactful magic moment where you're like, spell, attack, smite, spell, attack, smite, and things are just blowing up everywhere. And I love it. I think it's really sweet.
Okay, now is the time where I'll say, yeah, I really like this one. And now I mean the whole subclass.
Yeah. I think the Ancients outside of the 50th level feature are great. I think at the 15th level feature being this unfortunately bad isn't that big of an issue because the rest of it is so solid. And you just you'll get to a point from after 9th level till 20th level, well, you'll be like, I don't have a subclass anymore. And that's kind of okay because a lot of people don't. So then you're just like, do you stick with this for Elder Champion and do the other high level Paladin stuff and be perfectly fine with just your smites carrying you through and getting more and bigger of them? That's all fine. Or, you can dip out. You can take levels in Ranger and Druid. You can explore going a full multi-class nature caster kind of thing and have a ton of fun.
I don't hate Undying Sentinel as much as you do. I don't think it's amazing, but I think it's something.
It's a once per long rest boar trait, Bob.
All right. But you don't become a boar. You're still a paladin. You could do paladin things,
Assuming you don't get dropped by the next attack roll. I don't know.
I know, but that's not always going to be the case.
It's most of the time going to be the case.
Maybe. I mean, it depends on what you're fighting. If you're just fighting some big dude, then he took his attacks, and his last attack was the one that brought you below 0. Then you got another swing at him.
I would generally say in the grand scope of Dungeons and Dragons, if you're doing 2 or 3 encounters, I would say on a random turn, past turn 5, the first attack is as likely to drop you as the second attack. And for that reason, okay. And if there's anything else that still has no text, I think Undying Sentinel is that bad. I really don't think it's remotely.
I don't think it's amazing, but I don't know. I think you'll get a use out of it or two.
Perhaps, probably, maybe one encounter it saves your hide, and you're like, oh, that was amazing. Thank goodness I have this 15th level, otherwise completely useless feature that I've never used before.
But I mean, all the subclasses we've covered, having one dud feature. It's
not the end of the world.
No, it's a pretty good record, actually.
Yeah. The other thing is Paladins are they're just loaded with stuff, right? So Paladins, I think Paladins get an appropriate amount of stuff for a half caster, that you need this much to be competing with wizards, to be competing with druids, to be competing with bards, right? You have to have a lot of stuff to do. And they use their spells better than full casters do in a unique way, which I really love. I love that. I wish it happened a little earlier, honestly. I would love to see Ice Storm as a bonus action happening a lot faster than this, because while they're casting 8th level spells, your 4th level spells being faster and while you're still attacking, that's more fair of a trade-off to me. Even without all of that, though, even without changing anything, if you like this aesthetic, it's great. If you like the mechanics up to 9th level or up to 13th, 14th level, you will have a blast playing this. And I wholeheartedly recommend it. I think it's a great little subclass.
All right, you got a grade?
I think it's probably a B. The 15th level feature towards top end, the 4th level spells are plant or Ice Storm and Stone Skin, which are not great until you get the bonus action use of Ice Storm. Commune with Nature and Tree Stride. Nope, that ain't it for 5th level spells for 17th level. So, that's not ideal. But the rest of what you're getting here, Nature's Wrath isn't that good, but it's still usable. All of their first, second, 3rd level spells are excellent. You got Turn the Faithless is pretty solid. Nor of Warding has genuinely high impact. So, yeah, I think it's really great.
I'm a little keener on it. I'm gonna go as far as a B+. I was gonna give it an A. Then, I was reminded about Stone Skin and Commune with Nature and Tree Stride, and these are. When I get to 13th and 17th level, I want to be excited by new features, and no, I'm not.
Yeah.
But anyways, still, I think you'll have a lot of fun playing this if the aesthetic appeals to you.
What I really appreciate about it is, out the gate, this gives you the tools to feel like the Druidic Warden, right? Out the gate, you get Ensnaring Strike, and you get Speak with Animals, and you get the Channel Divinities to root things. So you will immediately have plenty of ways to do Grasping Vines, Nature Warden stuff, and it just piles on from there in a very condensed little bucket.
All right, agreed. That was Oath of the Ancients. Thank you, Sam, and thank you everyone for joining us. Let us know what you think of this oath down in the comments. Like and subscribe and all that, and we'll see you with another Paladin subclass next week. Thank you, and goodbye. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, informative, or entertaining, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button below. You needn't smash it, a gentle tap will suffice. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out the links in the description, where you'll find my Caverns Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels, Sam's full review of the spell, and other fun things.